Mhm. Those of you who are on Facebook or the Instagrams or something, I did a comic yesterday. Falling over. There we go. This was fun. Came out of a conversation I had with business acquaintance, and I joked about my doing. They didn't actually joke. I took it jokingly, doing a PSA comic, and I think I might. I like this 4-panel format, and I actually might. I used to use Num Such Numbnuts as an abbreviation. I like that better. For strips like this before. It's not the first time I did a strip. I don't do them that often though, but I might try to do a couple more as part of my personal, COVID strategy. I don't know if it works if you actually say it. Does it? I don't think so. Probably not. So let's see. So that was fun. I'll put a link to, let's say, the Instagram post. Copy link here in the chat, so you guys can check that out. So today's like a while ago, a year ago, at least, I responded in a comment. Just turning that down a little. I've got video playing in the background. A friend posted something. I don't remember what now. But I responded with a little story as a comment. And I liked it. So I wrote it down in my notebook, and then later on transferred that. Do I want to go bigger? Well, let's start with checking real quick. Get my glasses. Those don't quite match those perfectly. Maybe this is an inch. Not quite. Oh no, it is. No. Almost. Got excited there for a second. I was reading the marks wrong. It basically is. Okay, I was right. It's in millimeters. That's what I thought the first time. So we'll start with the mark for 8 and 10, right? Yeah. Which I use these grids to mark out 8 and 10 inch pages. Works out pretty handy. So this corner to there. So now I can extrapolate out to something more like the size of the full page. Not the size, more like size, sorry. Just a larger version, not even close to. But it's the right aspect ratio of the full page is where my brain was not successfully communicating to the outside world. Oh, I forgot there's a place I should have posted the link. Is baby. There it is. Told. Anyway, there we go. Focus. So I have my script up here. On a One morning, Sherwin Samsa woke from naughty dreams, finding themselves transformed into a cat. Laying on a supine back, they could see a long, fuzzy belly, slightly paunchy and floppy. The bedding was strewn, and they seemed ready to slide off at any moment. Perilous legs, long and stretched, waved about lazily, with a mind of their own, as gazed half-lit at. Well, this is interesting, was thought, hoping it wasn't a dream, and they slept all afternoon. Well, just some final edits. That wasn't meant to be a reading so much for you as it is good to read your stuff out loud when you think you've hit the right, kind of like the right, I don't know, feeling, pitch, note, vibe. Oops, why is my phone beeping? This guy emails a message from a fellow teacher about wanting to live stream. I'll reply later when I'm not live streaming. But yeah, sure. It's been interesting with everything going on, so I promised I would probably kvetch in the links. Yeah. The world is in interesting transitions. I don't know, like in many ways, it's not yet that different for me. My partner's having a harder time processing, going a little stir crazy. They're getting set up to work from home as much as possible, but she works at a theater, and this season is off, so that's going to be rough. But but they're going to plan ahead for the next one, and all the administrative staff that she's a part of is involved in doing that. For me, school I teach at, we had to cancel our last week of classes. The 2 weeks that we're currently closed for doesn't cover the next semester. However, I'm skeptical that won't be extended. I suspect it will. And even if it isn't, I'm probably a little on the high risk side because I'm diabetic. So I probably shouldn't. So I've been contemplating what to do with that. I think I've mentioned in another live stream previously that I'm thinking about ways I can teach and work using more of this video streaming tech. I need to quickly look at how many I got there. 9. So. Is that going to be accurate? A little past. No, that's totally wrong. I went the wrong way. That's what it was. It's more this way. So I want to stick with the grid, put it right there. Nope. It's just 4.5. It is just 4.5. So I want half of the page. Did that work? I think I actually want more than half of the page because long supine. No, I don't like that. Oops. Stuff stuck to my eraser. Yeah, that was one of the things I did not like. I kind of like the idea of, but let's go for even more. Yeah. No. Yeah. There we go. So we don't even need, let's just use. Nope. I don't like this face. It's just rough anyway, but it doesn't have the personality. Time for the reference. Which in this case is just my cat Oscar. Do I have... What do I have that's recent? The Sprint's Cody sleeping. This. Where is. Here we go. Well. It's not really a help. Okay, I'm impressed, Google. Although that is also slightly creepy. I just had to search the word cat, and all of my saved Oscar photos and also other cats pictures show up. Oh. That's good, though. That's what I needed just now. That's almost, but not quite. So that's the one I want because it's got the shape of his head. There we go. I love this old schoolroom. Which brand it is? Oh, just Exacto hand cranked shaver. I have it mounted to my side table. We've got some really good handheld Exactos, not Exactos, pencil sharpeners. There we go. My brain. I've splurged on a couple of nice ones. But I have an old electric, which still kind of works, but it's definitely getting a little tired. And I thought about buying another one a few years ago, but then rather than do that, I decided to just buy a hand cranked thing because multiple reasons, but basically short version, lower footprint. Across the board. Cost less, fewer breakable parts, simple construction. If just one person's using it, will last forever. All right, I forget. I was doing a perspective shot. Yep. There we go. Perilous legs. I think I will shrink to fit in Photoshop. Okay, I'm going to keep this layout, but let's draw it as its own thing. And I'll put it together. In Photoshop later. Do I have? I've got cats laying on floors. That's a fat cat laying on the floor. Where's Oscar laying on the floor? I know I've taken this picture. Oh. That's on my future to get list then. Lots of cute kittens. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Close enough anyway. Get the physiology that I'm looking to capture. Actually, I guess I need to draw smaller so I can get the whole body in. Yes. Need a clear view. Those are dogs. Doesn't feel right. Oh, that's right. Okay. Too big. Overextended. That's more like it. Oscar's a longer cat, but that's okay. I didn't actually necessarily want to draw Oscar exactly. That's what I want to do. Vary that angle. Stretching his toes. It's good. I definitely have Oscar curled up. Clutter that up. Do it here. Okay, let's go with my ballpoint for this one. So I made changes from that thumb, but part of also doing different drafts, especially for a done-in-one. Any comic can benefit from it, but most reasonable deadlines, you don't have any excuse not to do multiple drafts for a done-in-one. And this gives you a chance to rethink and edit, but also I use it to like do an inventory. So when there are props and continuity issues, I'll make even like a prop list. I used to have prop lists when I worked in animation, so I picked up the habit from that. I think about it when I was making comics before that, but I didn't formalize it, write it down, and of course I would forget things that way. But working with the prop list in animation taught me the value of lists. Once again, technically kind of already knew, but you know, and now if I get a script or if I'm writing, at some point I sit down and go through and I start making initial key prop designs, lists, things that I need to create to tell a story. But it's after the thumbs that I often come up with a lot of little details and trivia and things that I didn't think of in the first pass. So a big part of the whole going from rough to clean is doing your research and continuity and all that stuff. Hello, Shebeer. Shebeer? Is it Shebeer or Shebeer? Shebeer. My glasses. That is an A. Yes, Shebeer. That I'll save for I decide which one to go with in terms of how I'm finally finishing it. But I often switch to ballpoint for my penciling. It's a very pleasant tool to use. Just rolls off nice and smooth. You can use whiteout with it instead of an eraser. So that should not be interfere. One shouldn't be too eager to use an eraser or whiteout. Too overeager. You need to calm the critical voice in your head to let yourself get shit done. But when it comes time to actually make constructive changes, once you've considered them, or if you actually make a very specific mistake, like carrying that line through too far, like I did, I've actually even, you know what, that's not even so much a mistake so much as because I've gotten used to using whiteout. I don't think too much about having to remove a line like that, and it makes the carrying through a lot easier. So sometimes I just do it, knowing I'm going to have to erase part of it. And that's fine. This looks very... Something I thought, I don't think I have mentioned yet, that I thought I would mention in this live stream. And if you're... Thank you. If you're watching, you know what? No, I'll make a press reel announcement for this too. But I will say, not to be total tease, yeah, so adapting to what's going on with the COVID and all that sort of stuff, I'm thinking I'm gonna use probably Zoom, although I still have to like investigate it a bit more. Some sort of platform like that. For now, a free one most likely, to do some teaching. I'm kind of expecting my classes to either go virtual or be canceled. I think my school will try to make them go virtual. So I'm anticipating having to adapt to that anyway. But I've been sort of putting off curating and organizing the courses that I've been teaching for the last 6 years in a form that would work online. I have my insecurities about adapting to teaching online. I think the main insecurities aren't so much about my ability as it is like not being able to see with my own eyes a drawing in front of me at high res. A lot of cams aren't that great. Lighting's not that great. Scans would be good. Students can scan their art, or it's done digitally in the first place. I think I'm going to have to make essentially a digital-friendly, non-live model drawing-based version of dynamic drawing if we're going to continue offering that. And we can also adapt easily, I want to say. I think there's no real reason that shouldn't be very straightforward. I think, you know, it lacks the in-person element. Yes, Oscar. That's Oscar trying to let me know that I'm ignoring him too much. He's come over for some rubs. Patting me in the back. Excuse me. Hello. Yeah. All to say, I'm going to probably get around to trying to set up some proper online classes. We have a few cats. We used to have 3. Currently got 2. And insofar as he hangs out with me and pesters me constantly, Oscar is my cat. Although Scoogie has taken a liking to me too. When we first rescued Scoogie, she was very shy and pretty much just bonded with Ange. But as she's gotten older, she's come out of her shell, and now she comes to me when she's feeling needy too. I do not like it. Overworking. Keep it simple, Max. There we go. That's what happens when I start talking too much. Not paying attention to the drawing. There we go. That's better. Who doesn't like cats? We will not speak their names. I actually have to do Maybe one of the last things tonight will be to get a much long overdue commission finally done. One of my patrons wanted a portrait of her cats, and I'm very late doing that. It's actually been pretty hectic because I've been trying to get a book done for release in May. So another thing I've been thinking is I am almost certainly delaying the release of Mind Engine now. Something I decided in the last 24 hours. I'm on track to get it finished. I'm not going to stop working on it, but I am going to slow down and shift gears and put some time into getting caught up with overdue commissions because I got a bit of a backlog of those. And possibly working out the online teaching thing a little bit. I definitely have to figure out what I'm doing for a class next week. I kind of have an idea for one of them, but the other one I'm a little at loss. But it wasn't really. I was going to be getting the work done in class, so I guess maybe I should just hold like some sort of live work session. Also, for my making comic students, I decided to give them if they want to keep going, because they can do a lot of the work on their own. Stretch on any deadlines, because our deadlines were entirely based on a school vernissage that's been canceled anyway. So there's no good reason to bail on the projects that they were working on, unless they really want to. I'll leave it up to them. If they want to keep going, well, you can work. Some of them are already working to finish their stories, and we'll probably do a virtual get together at class time next week on Wednesday. But then I've extended the deadline for the anthology that we were putting together as a class for 2 weeks, and it lets people get some things done. And because we don't have the launching conditions, I'm going to do something a little different with the work. I'm going to feature it on Sequential, the comics news blog that I publish. And then that's kind of given me ideas about things I could do for classes privately. So it might be more flexible for me in the future. Well, so I want to do some more drapery. There we go. All right. I'm going to scan this and put it together. And then contemplate the next step. But there is my pencils for Cat Kafka. Pencils and thumbs. This is the thumbnails over here. And then I've done the pencils. Kind of resize and fix them up because that's why these are over there. They were supposed to go underneath. Yes. My corner plan comes together.